Think about it for a moment. We spend roughly, what, a third of our lives in bed?
Something like that, yeah. A huge chunk of time.
But what if the very foundation of our sleep space, the bed frame itself, is actually at the heart of this unexpected multi-billion-dollar global boom? Something that really mirrors how our lifestyles are changing.
It's a fascinating angle, isn't it?
That's the surprising story we're diving into today. Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, what's fascinating here is just how foundational this market is and, how much growth is projected. Our sources show the global bedstead market was valued at a pretty substantial $4.32 billion.
Just in 2021.
Exactly, just back in 2021.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just steady. It's like a solid, accelerating upward trajectory. By 2025, that figure is projected to hit nearly $6 billion. And looking further out, say to 2033, it's forecasted to climb to an impressive $11 billion.
$11 billion. It's a huge number.
Yeah. And that's a compound annual growth rate, or PAGR, of 8.1%.
Yeah.
That kind of expansion in a market that seems maybe kind of mundane, like bed frames, well, it's pretty remarkable.
Indeed. And our sources, they attribute this vigorous growth to rising consumer demand. People want bed frames that are not just functional anymore.
Right. They want more.
They want truly modern, highly durable, and critically space-efficient designs. And this isn't just about what people want in their homes,
Oh, okay.
It's also a really significant trend across commercial sectors. Think about the hospitality industry.
Hotels, yeah. Where design and, well, longevity are absolutely key.
Exactly. So you're seeing sleek, minimalist designs, maybe frames with integrated charging ports, or even those modular systems that adapt to smaller living spaces. That's becoming really important.
So with those surprisingly large numbers in mind, let's maybe explore how different parts of the world are specifically contributing to this boom. As we dive into each region, maybe you, listening, can consider what these trends might mean for your own living space and how people are sleeping where you are.
Okay, sounds good. Starting with North America, it really continues to be a dominant force in this market.
Still leading the pack.
Pretty much. This region's market size is expected to more than double by 2033. It's projected to reach nearly $3 billion.
Wow. From $1.25 billion back in 2021.
That's right. It showcases a strong average annual growth of 7.6%.
And within North America, I assume the United States is the powerhouse?
Oh, absolutely. It's projected to climb from over $1 billion in 2021 to a, frankly, staggering $2.47 billion by 2033.
$2.5 billion almost. Just the U.S.
Just the U.S. But it's not just the U.S. leading the charge, actually.
No.
We also see really healthy growth from Canada. That's an 8.1% CAGR predicted. And Mexico at 7.8%.
Okay, so strong across the board there. What's driving it?
Well, the key drivers for this North American surge seem to be largely attributed to a couple of major shifts. First, the rising trend of urban home renovation.
Makes sense. People fixing up city apartments, maybe?
Exactly. People are trying to maximize every square foot, often looking for bed frames with, say, integrated storage or just really innovative designs. And second,
Let me guess. Online sales.
you got it. The rapidly expanding online furniture sales channels have just completely transformed how consumers buy these larger items. Things you used to think were showroom only, right?
Totally. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Think about how much of your own shopping habits have shifted online, even for something as significant as a bed frame.
It's a huge shift.
It's incredible to see North America's continued strength, particularly with that online sales aspect, really changing the furniture game. But let's shift our gaze across the Atlantic now. How do the trends in Europe compare? Especially given, its diverse markets and maybe different urban planning styles.
Right. Well, the European bedstead market, while slightly smaller overall, is still on a very strong trajectory.
Right.
It was valued at just under $1 billion in 2021 and is forecasted to reach $2.42 billion by 2033, so still more than doubling.
And the growth rate.
Growing at a robust 7.9% annually on average.
So pretty close to North America's rate then. Any standouts in Europe?
Germany, in particular, shows incredibly strong performance within Europe. Its market size is projected to jump from about $180 million to nearly $500 million by 2033.
Wow, $500 million for Germany alone.
Yeah, growing at an impressive 8.3% annually. The UK is also on track, expected to hit about $300 million by 2033.
Okay.
But what's interesting here is that while the traditional big players like France, Italy, and Spain definitely contribute,
Sure.
the strongest momentum, the fastest growth, is actually seen in Eastern and Northern Europe. That whole rest of Europe category lumped together. It's showing an impressive 8.4% CAGR.
Huh. So maybe a bit of catch-up happening there.
Absolutely. It really suggests a fascinating catch-up and modernization trend happening in parts of Europe that are, rapidly developing their residential and commercial infrastructure.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, now, if we talk about the real growth engine, you hinted at this, the powerhouse of the global bedstead market, that sounds like it would undeniably be the Asia-Pacific region.
Oh, without a doubt. This area is projected to grow robustly from $1.64 billion in 2021.
Which was already the biggest region back then.
Exactly. And it's projected to reach an astounding $4.4 billion in 2033.
$4.4 billion.
Yeah, at a strong 8.7% CAGR overall for the region. It's just a massive leap.
And who's leading the charge there? China.
China is certainly leading the charge in terms of sheer volume, yeah. Forecasted to nearly triple its revenue to $1.96 billion by 2033. It's just a testament to its scale and that rapid development.
Almost $2 billion just for China.
Yeah.
But you mentioned momentum earlier. What about India?
Right. Well, don't sleep on India. It actually boasts the fastest CAGR in the region.
Faster than China.
Faster growth rate.
Yeah.
An impressive 9.2%. It's climbing from about $315 million to over $900 million.
9.2%. That's like watching a whole new wave of urban development unfold right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Millions of new bedrooms needing that foundational piece of furniture.
Precisely. And this vigorous growth across Asia-Pacific, including places like Japan, South Korea, Southeast Asia too, it's primarily driven by, well, an expanding middle class.
Rising incomes.
Rising incomes, expanding middle class demand, and a really significant increase in the adoption of more modern bedding solutions. This often means consumers are upgrading, moving from maybe simpler sleeping arrangements to more elaborate, aesthetically pleasing, and maybe even technologically interconnected bed frames.
Reflecting those improving lifestyles and aspirations for modern living.
Exactly. That's the story there.
Okay, heading south now. Let's look at South America. Are we seeing similar trends there, an accelerating adoption of contemporary furniture?
We are, yes. It's mirroring some of those global trends quite closely. Brazil's market, for instance, is set to more than triple its size.
Triple.
Yeah, growing from about $83 million to $267 million with a strong 8.5% CAGR.
Okay, solid growth in Brazil. Anywhere else standing out?
Well, what's really notable in South America are Chile and Peru.
Oh.
Both are showing impressive double-digit growth rates. We're talking 12.1% for Chile and 11.4% for Peru.
Double digits. That's huge. What's fueling that?
It seems to be fueled by rising homeownership rates and also expanding retail infrastructure across the continent. So it translates very directly into demand for foundational home items like bed frames.
Right. Makes you wonder, is every new apartment building going up in Santiago or Lima immediately looking for a sleek, modern bed frame?
It kind of feels that way looking at these numbers.
Okay, finally, let's touch on the Middle East and Africa. What's the picture there?
Here we see more moderate growth, but certainly promising, for the long term.
Right.
Egypt, Turkey, and surrounding countries, they're forecasted to contribute a combined total of over $167 million by 2033.
And the growth rates, are they slower?
The average annual growth rates range between about 6% and 6.7%. So a bit slower, yes, but still positive growth. And the long-term opportunities there are really being created by improving lifestyles generally. Significant investments in the hospitality sector, think new hotels, resorts popping up.
Lots of construction there, yeah.
Exactly. And ongoing urban housing developments throughout the region, all of these require new bed frames.
So when we pull back and look at all these regions together, from the established markets like North America and Europe to the booming economies in Asia-Pacific and that accelerating adoption in South America, it really underscores that solid, sustained upward trajectory for the whole global bedstead market, doesn't it? It absolutely does. And manufacturers, they're clearly focusing on delivering products that combine, functionality, aesthetics, and sustainability now, too.
That seems to be the winning combo, yeah. Function, looks, and being eco-conscious.
So, expert, what does this all mean for the bigger picture? Beyond just the beds themselves.
Well, if we connect this to that bigger picture, it really shows how even these seemingly niche markets like bed frames are actually deeply tied to huge global economic shifts.
How so?
Think about rapid urbanization, profoundly evolving consumer preferences. It's a clear indicator of how fundamental needs evolve with societal changes.
Okay.
As people move into cities, as their incomes rise, as technology integrates into, well, every aspect of life, even their beds reflect these transformations. It's almost like a barometer for how societies are building new homes, urbanizing, and embracing new ways of living.
That's a great way to put it, a barometer. So what does this all mean for you listening? It means that even the most fundamental items in our homes, like the very bed we sleep on, are part of this massive dynamic global industry, one that's constantly adapting to how we live,
Mm.
to our evolving tastes, and yeah, to the rise of new shopping habits like e-commerce. So given these trends towards modern, durable, space-efficient, and maybe even sustainable designs, here's something to ponder. How might the bed you sleep on 10 years from now be shaped by these very trends? What new innovations might appear in this piece of furniture that, let's be honest, we often take for granted?
Okay, let's unpack this. When you think about your bed, it probably seems like the simplest, most, static piece of furniture in your home. Just a frame, a mattress, maybe a headboard. But what if I told you that this seemingly basic object, your bedstead, is actually a surprising window into complex global market dynamics? Today, we're going to challenge that perception and do a real deep dive into the hidden forces shaping something so fundamental.
It's really quite fascinating, isn't it? The humble bedstead market, often overlooked. Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually gives us incredibly sharp insights into broader consumer behaviors, rapidly evolving design trends, and significant economic shifts, things that impact industries far beyond just furniture. Our deep dive today, it's built on a detailed analysis from cognitive market research, and it really does sort of pull back the covers on what's driving this whole evolution.
Right. So our mission here is to uncover the key drivers pushing this market forward, the unexpected roadblocks manufacturers are facing, and the really exciting innovations and future trends that are completely redefining what a bedstead even is. You'll find out why it's far, far more than just, a place to sleep. So let's kick off with probably the biggest force at play here, this growing urbanization-driven demand for home furnishings. We're seeing rapid urban development, rising home ownership rates globally, especially, like you said, in emerging economies. Now, this isn't just about more people needing places to live, right? It feels like a fundamental shift in how people set up their lives, often in smaller urban spaces. What does this mean for bedstead specifically?
Well, it means a huge need for smarter solutions. That urban density directly feeds into a surging demand for multi-purpose and highly customized furniture. Our sources show that consumers, particularly in those space-constrained apartments, they're not just looking for a bed, they want furniture that works harder. Think about storage-integrated bedsteads, with drawers underneath, or foldable frames maybe, things that can turn a bedroom into a workspace during the day. Or convertible designs like sofa beds, modular headboards that you can change. It's not just saving space, it reflects a deeper consumer shift, like towards minimalism, multifunctional living. The bed itself helps manage a small urban footprint.
Okay, that makes sense. And how are these consumers actually finding and, well, buying these new designs? Is it still mostly traditional shops or?
Yeah. That's a really critical point. I mean, yes, brick and mortar furniture chains are expanding, but the real game changer, it's been the huge growth of digital e-commerce platforms. What's really interesting is how these online platforms got over that initial hurdle. People being hesitant to buy big stuff like a bed online without seeing it. They do it with clever features like virtual room visualization tools. You see the bed in your room, plus seamless delivery, even assembly services. That whole package just dramatically lowers the barrier. It's created huge new growth avenues for everything from mass market affordable beds right up to super premium categories, reaching urban and semi-urban markets much more effectively. Now, despite all this growth and innovation, the market definitely isn't without its significant challenges. One of the main roadblocks is the fluctuating cost of raw materials. And these persistent supply chain disruptions we're still seeing. We're talking volatile prices for key stuff like metal, wood, even upholstery fabrics, velvet, linen, you name it. Combine that with the lingering logistics problem, shipping containers, port delays, it hits production timelines hard, and it really squeezes the margins for manufacturers, especially ones operating at scale. It's not just cost, it's forcing some to look for totally new material sources just to stay competitive.
Right, and that volatility probably ties into another issue you mentioned, the limited product differentiation, especially in the mass market. You look at the lower price points, and yeah, so many products look incredibly similar. Same materials, same basic design. What does that commoditization really do to the market?
It leads to intense, sometimes pretty brutal, price competition. And it raises a big question. How do smaller regional players even survive? Often they just don't have the R&D budgets or the scale of the big guys.
Hmm.
It makes it incredibly hard for them to innovate or stand out with unique designs or a strong brand. They get squeezed,
Mm.
sometimes right out of the market because they just can't compete purely on price.
And then there's the whole environmental angle, the regulatory pressures, especially around wood. How are manufacturers coping with that?
Exactly. Governments everywhere are getting stricter on deforestation, demanding sustainable sourcing. So manufacturers have to adapt, get new certifications like FSC or CARB for emissions. And meeting these standards, well, it's not just paperwork. It adds complexity to production, new audits, process changes, and yeah, it increases costs. It's definitely a challenge, particularly for smaller or more traditional companies that might not have the resources to pivot that quickly.
Okay, but let's shift gears a bit. Because despite those hurdles, there are some genuinely exciting trends that aren't just shaping, but really redefining the future here. Let's start with the move towards eco-friendly and sustainable materials.
Yeah, this is huge. It's a direct response to strong consumer demand, especially in places like Europe and North America. We're seeing real examples everywhere now, things like reclaimed wood, low-emission coatings, water-based finishes, recyclable metal frames, even some innovative bioplastics. Brands are actively promoting this stuff. It's not just good PR. It genuinely attracts that growing group of eco-conscious consumers who want their purchases to match their values.
And thinking about the future, you really can't ignore the integration of smart technology into furniture. I mean, a smart bed. What does that actually involve?
It's pretty incredible, actually. High-end beds aren't just static frames anymore. They have features like integrated LED lighting you can control, USB ports built right in, advanced adjustability for comfort, think zero-gravity positions,
Yeah.
and even sophisticated sleep monitoring sensors. Stuff that tracks your sleep and gives you feedback. Some even have climate control or air purification built in. These features really appeal to the tech-savvy, wellness-focused buyers. They see the bed as like an active part of their health routine.
Wow, okay. And finally, you mentioned the rise of interior customization, that personalization trend. It really feels like the bed's role is changing from just functional necessity to being a real centerpiece reflecting personal style.
That's exactly right. This is where design and, creating that curated space really comes in. Think about the difference between, say, a minimalist Scandinavian frame versus a really plush upholstered headboard in a bold color, or industrial styles with metal and wood. Manufacturers are responding with this huge diversity of finishes, materials, themed collections. It's all about letting consumers design a bedroom that's not just functional, but a true extension of who they are, reflecting current design moods. So when you sort of pull all these threads together, the big picture is clear. The global bedstead market isn't just getting bigger, it's undergoing this profound evolution. It's really poised for continued innovation and significant growth, mainly because consumer expectations are shifting so strongly towards customization, convenience, and critically sustainability.
It really does make you think, doesn't it? How even something as everyday as your bedstead can reflect these huge global forces: urbanization, technology, environmental concerns, that basic human desire for self-expression. It's all there. So what does it mean for your home and the choices you make when even a simple piece of furniture is this dynamic, constantly changing with the world around it? Something to consider.